What's up guys, Niko here. I am now 7 weeks on the road. Where we left off last, I was just getting into New York City. I came in with the intent to do street shows in Central Park. I ended up getting rained out that weekend, but still had a pretty good time exploring the city. It was a bit of an uncomfortable transition to go from camping out in the mountains to suddenly being surrounded by millions of people in the biggest city in the world. But I did get to spend quite a bit of time with my good buddy Luther, a very talented sitar player, juggler, and a world record holder for the most objects juggled while swallowing a sword. After a week in New York City, I headed up the coast to check out some of the beaches, play some tunes, and generally decompress a little bit further before flying back to Seattle for the Northwest Folklife Festival. Folklife was my very first festival as a street performer about 5 years ago, and I've made it a point to come back every year since. And I ran into another performer friend, Marcus, a Acrobat and Cyr Wheel performer. Met him in Seattle, and we got to hang out a bit in New Orleans this season. After a week amongst family and friends at a familiar festival, I flew back to Maine to continue the motorcycle tour. Back out on my own, I was immediately met with inclement weather. Very quickly ran into another performer friend, Mason Davis, a escape artist and comedian.
That's like the bike packers workout.
Mason and I headed to the pitch. Mason, that right there is your whole show? So we had some good times talking about packing light and the travel lifestyle, and we both were amused to find that we only had one key to be responsible for. After parting ways with Mason, I had a week to make it to a gig upstate New York, so I was riding as slow as possible, getting distracted as much as I could, finding some cool things to take photos of, and scoping out the natural, geographic attractions. So that's the latest on the tour. Gonna keep trying to develop the blogging skills and show you what it's like to live life on the edge. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned.
If any of this is turning out. I don't think I really care. I think it's just kind of fun to do. And that was how he discovered his creative process.
Alright folks, so that's video number 3 from the motorcycle ride, spring 2017 from New Orleans to New York. Still kind of figuring out how to do this, the video blogging thing, so bear with me while I hone the process. It's kind of a lot more work to share the adventures than it is to actually adventure. But I figured out what I want to focus on. I'd like to highlight the natural sights and experiences. I'd like to focus on the hardships and the lessons learned. But most importantly, I think I'd like to highlight the interesting people that I meet along the way. A lot of crazy folk out there. The music, I'd like to either make myself or feature people that I know personally. I've met a lot of really incredible musicians in my travels, and I'd love to share their music. I've kept the cameras rolling for most of the last 5 years while learning the arts of travel and street performance. But the hassle of editing and all that has kept me from putting it out there. The goal has been just to make one big video at the end. The end, as if that's going to happen. But in the last 12 months alone, I think I'm just going to try to recap that first. Last 12 months have been rode the motorcycle from New Orleans up to Detroit last spring, flew to Britain, Ireland, Scotland, and Iceland. That was about 2.5 months. Flew back to the States and rode the bike south back to New Orleans from Detroit. Spent December goofing off in LA, Tucson, Seattle, and then took off to New Zealand for 6 weeks. Came back from Mardi Gras in New Orleans and then rode up here. So I think the next post I'll try to just do a quick recap of that stuff. But yeah, I hope you like what's happening so far. One thing that I am encountering, a problem, is part of why I'm doing these tours by motorcycle is to find nice little towns to perform in. Unfortunately, I don't really want that information out there in the street performing world, so I may have to set a separate tier for that. Maybe Patreon, maybe mailing list only videos. But yeah, so that's the process. I hope you guys enjoy. Check out the website for more writing-oriented stuff, magicianonamotorcycle.com, and Facebook and Instagram. So thanks for watching.